Yeah.
Cafe.
Then when you come down out of the cloud, you see everybody running down.
Just a bit of talk about that. If anybody wants to hear a little bit about uphill running and downhill running technique,
I'd like to hear about it and watch it. I'm not necessarily going to.
you can sit there and watch, or you can. Anybody's welcome to have a little try. To be honest, like, you could just have a little listen just now if you want, and then have your coffee and your snacks and stuff, and then when they're doing the rest of the run, are you going to walk back, or are you going to, or you can try it later on, or whenever your hip's feeling better, but we can put it into a bit of practice as you're going along. Yeah. So who finds it difficult running up hills?
Who doesn't think?
You like it? You enjoy it?
I like a little bit, but I cannot run quite long because I run off my breath.
Out of breath, yeah.
Yeah, when unfit, it's not much fun.
Yeah. So what do you think is more important for running uphill? Do you think you have to have a really good lung capacity, cardiovascular system, or do you think it is something else?
Mindset.
Mindset.
Maybe.
Consistent in terms of your
Just
training?
like, you cannot run so fast to up the hill.
Pacing yourself well.
Yeah.
So how can we pace ourselves better instead of constantly running up a hill? Say you want to get up a hill really fast, right? What can you do to pace yourself a bit better?
Take smaller strides.
Yeah, small steps, keeping the cadence nice and fast. Anything else you can do to pace yourself a bit? If you feel like you're getting out of breath, what can you...
Strengthen muscles, maybe.
Definitely strengthening the muscles, yeah. So you could do strength. You could do specific strength training, which you can do on the hill, or you could do strength training at home, like step ups, single leg squats, lunges. Plyometrics are really good. Box jumps, jumping lunges, squat jumps, things like that. But you can also, what do we do on the way up the other side there? Most of the way.
Walking.
Yeah, walking. Yeah, so we can hike. Power hiking technique can be really useful, and switching between running and power hiking can be really useful. So what do you think's more important? Fitness, back to my first question, fitness or technique?
Technique.
Yeah. Technique's definitely more important than the fitness, because your fitness can change, day to day. Fitness can go up and down, various factors, nutrition, how much you've been doing recently, rest, recovery, how you're feeling that day. But the technique, if you really practice it, can be ingrained pretty well. And it's all the stuff we've been talking about yesterday, so I won't go too much into that again. But just thinking about a couple of common things that I often see is when you start going up a hill, the temptation is to look down with your head again. So when we do that, we're just being inefficient again, because we're putting the weight forward. So as we were discussing this morning, that can cause a lot of problems with where the load is being placed, but also the fascial system then becomes inefficient. So if our head is down, everything starts to sink down again, and we're just spongy, and the ground is just absorbing our energy, our free energy. Whereas if we can be head upright, nice and tall, imagine that rope. So uphill running particularly, if you imagine like a rope pulling you up the hill, you want it to be pulling you up towards the top of the hill, depending on the angle. So sometimes maybe thinking like a cable car with a rope attached to it pulling you up can be quite nice, something like that. Archie's licking the head. So yeah, and another thing that you can actually do is it's a bit bizarre, but you can tape a bit of kinesiology tape to the back of your head. So remember yesterday we were doing that exercise where you lean against the door with your head back against it. You can tape a bit of tape to the back of your head or the back of your neck down your spine, and you'll notice it then, because often it's not so much that we're using maybe not the most optimal technique. I don't like using incorrect, because everybody's a little bit different, but generally we've got an optimal sort of technique, and if we can use this tape on the back of your neck, you'll start to notice when you're moving your head down and up. So it's making you, as you were saying yesterday, Chris, we want to become conscious of what we're doing. We want to be aware of it. So technique when running uphill, if we can tap into using our elasticity when we're running uphill, it becomes much easier. So instead of trying to use power and trying to grind up a hill, we can bounce. I don't know if anybody, if you were watching me run up the hill earlier on, or I'll give a little demonstration just now, but if we can become bouncy, at first this might feel harder, probably will feel harder, but once you start to retrain our body, we start to retrain the fascial system, it'll adapt to that and it'll start to become like more like a spring, and we're springing up the hill. And that can be actually more efficient than sometimes hiking. There's a point where it becomes so steep, so here, this was probably more efficient to run, but there's a point where it becomes so steep, like maybe this sort of terrain, where it becomes more efficient to hike. And that can be a little bit different for everybody, but it's just worth playing around with that and finding out. You can use heart rate to monitor what's happening, or just RPE, rate of perceived exertion, like how your body's feeling and responding, and your breathing rate and stuff like that. So that's kind of uphill running. I'll do a little demonstration of what I'm talking about with elasticity. So we're kind of looking for
You've got your partner with you.
It's quite soft.
Do you want to do it on 4 legs? He'll demonstrate.
Soft, spongy terrain. So it's sometimes this can be helpful, but sometimes it can actually suck you in more. So if you aren't using the springiness of your body, you're just going to get sucked in. But if you can start to so again, head is up, nice and tall, everything's stacked. I've just got a very slight forward lean into the hill, and I'm kind of trying to bounce up. And I'm looking at where my feet are going with my eyes, not my head. My head's not down, my eyes are down, and I'm trying to bounce up. And that might seem like you're using more energy because you're almost hopping up the hill, but you're not. You're recoiling. You're springing up. And as Helen said, it's really small steps. I can open it up, but that's going to start becoming more challenging.
Actually, this is great. I love it.
These are always on the
And then for power hiking, it kind of looks a bit like maybe this, hands on the knees or hands off.
So cute.
And I've got a slight forward lean from the waist there, so it's a little bit different. We're not using the fascial system as much when we're hiking. That's power we're using. So we're switching between using elasticity to using power. And you can train both of those specifically out here or in the gym or at home. Elasticity, how do we train elasticity? Jump in, squat jumps, all these things, plyometrics. Probably the best form of strength training for runners is plyometrics. Also has a higher degree of injury in many ways than a lot of the traditional exercises. So you've got to be aware of that. How can we train power and strength? Step ups, just multiple reps. And then we've also got muscular endurance to think about. So muscular endurance is just basically how long your muscles can withstand an amount of fatigue. And we can really, that's one of the most trainable systems in the body. We can really train muscular endurance by doing high repetitions of exercises with short rest periods. So step ups, single leg squats, and then plyometrics are really effective for this. And then you can also transition into doing that out on the hill, heavy weight, running up a long steep hill, or hiking up a long steep hill. The focus should be trying to fatigue the muscles and not fatiguing the lungs and the heart. So if the lungs and the heart are going first, you need to either add more weight or find a way to make the resistance. Probably start off with gym exercises first to increase the capacity of the muscular endurance first, and then move on to steep uphill climbing. And they can become as long as like 45 minutes to an hour of constant uphill climbing where your legs are like feeling pretty tired, but the trainability of that is amazing. And then with the combination of using the technique and the muscular endurance together and overall increased fitness, you're going to really find running uphill pretty easy, Any questions on that? Nope. We're all getting pretty wet.
Yeah.
So
Wet and cold.
I'll quickly talk about downhill, and then I'll save the rest for when we get back, I think. Downhill, probably the most important thing from like a safety point of view, not to get injured, is to keep your eyes where you're moving to. So really focus on the trail. You don't want to be, it's nice to looking at the views, but you don't want to be looking at the views too much, because as soon as you land your foot in an awkward place, you're going to potentially roll your ankle or sustain an injury. So we want to be really focused on where we're going. The more technical, the closer your eyes want to be to where you are. The less technical, the further you can look away and you can plan ahead. And you're constantly scanning the environment further and closer to you. We discussed it yesterday, really small, quick steps are usually effective. So short strides if it's really technical, but then you can open out into a longer stride, but you just have to make sure the foot is still landing underneath the body and not heel striking too much. On soft downhill, you can get away with a little bit more heel striking, but it's definitely risky for injury, and not a good kind of way to ingrain good technique. So I'll just do a little bit of downhill.
Going the wrong way.
That's uphill.
That's uphill.
In order to come down, you've got to go
I
up.
know.
So again, I'm taking small steps. I'm trying to find the best place to plant my feet all the time. And then as it opens up to less technical, I can open up. Right.
Wow.
And he's up. And it's all right, Arch. His rescue dog's after him.
She's like, you're not fast enough.
With downhill running as well, it really is about committing and trying to be as fearless as you can, because the less fear you have, the more relaxed you are, the more you can lean forward, and the more then your foot will land underneath. If you're constantly trying to slow down and you're scared to lean in, you're going to heel strike more. It's going to cause braking action, so it will slow you down, but very inefficient, very fatiguing on the quads, potentially injury inducing. So yeah, you've got to practice that, and ideally practice it with the smaller strides first, and then you can open them up into longer strides. Yeah, any questions on anything?
Yeah.
All good? Anybody want to try it?
Yeah, I'll go and try, yeah.
Yeah. One thing I didn't mention is footwear. So I have got these big studs on the bottom of my feet, so much easier for running down here. These are actually like quite minimal, believe it or not. They do have quite a big cushion there, but they're only a 3mm drop, wide toe box, and you can feel pretty much everything underneath your feet, which is why I really like these ones. Innovate mud talons. However, the durability I'm a little bit unsure of just now, so yeah, watch this space. But I think let's see the bottom of your soles, John.
Nice.
Yeah, you've got a little bit of tread there, but not much. So yeah, just watch. You might end up slipping down on your bum if you're not careful, especially in the steep bit. But this bit here is quite safe. You can have a little go up and down there if you want. And then obviously when we start running again, we can put this into practice more as well.
Oh, Archie.
John's playing too.
Yeah, he's like, this is great. Because he didn't get any running with me and
Right,
Helen.
Archie, Archie, come. Archie, come.
Of course, yeah, came up with you.
Archie.
Yeah, he did.
Right, Archie, come over here.
Helen, I just thought
Over
we've
here, out
got
the
a
way.
towel to dry
Come here.
on.
So I'll go down the hill, yeah.
Yeah,
So dry on.
nice general
Yeah.
forward
He
lean,
will
small
shake,
steps.
but
Yeah.
Just watch, it might be
Oh,
quite
you
slippy.
think about the car?
yeah.
Oh, no, don't worry about the car.
Again.
Honestly, no.
Oh, are you sure?
Yeah,
Right, good.
absolutely.
Yeah, he does shake, and I'll get him to shake,
No,
but
honestly, it's
I
not
should have
a
brought a
problem.
towel. I
Try,
didn't
so when you're coming up,
think.
try not to kick your legs back.
As I
You've
say,
got your
Bring
oh,
it
legs
bring
it
your-
is, but
bring
not
your knee
take
up.
a towel. We get halfway to where I start to walk and go,
forgot
right,
Oh, wow.
not a towel again.
Woo!
No heel flex, we're just going
I wonder if you could put like on his collar like a little pouch that has a microfiber towel that
Yeah.
one that could like really pack down.
Yeah.
And then you just stuff it in
Yeah.
and he's got one of the things.
Yeah, that's a good. Yeah, maybe you could invent that. Little,
probably a thing.
well, it probably is a
You get
thing.
those
Probably is a
little,
thing, to be fair.
you get these things for dogs, like little
Do you?
relay vest things.
Just watch,
that
there is a
they wear.
big ditch. There is some
People
big
that go
ditches
hiking
here,
and
so
running,
definitely watch
you
your
get it when
ankles.
the dog wears it and he's got his own little ball.
Especially here.
Oh, that's
I would recommend you give it a try.
Yeah, because I guess if you're taking your stuff and the dog stuff, it's quite a lot, isn't it?
The dog to carry his own.
Anybody else want a
How
little
was it,
go
John?
just now? Give you a little bit of
Go, Fiona.
Keeps it warm.
anything.
How was it, John?
Yeah, keep it warm.
How did it feel?
Yeah, good.
Yeah?
Hello.
Right, Archie,
Dinner buddy.
over there. Go on.
That's the mistake I made, is that like going uphill I just try to keep the same, but yeah, when Chris explained that
Nice.
you've got to do small little steps,
Yeah.
and it's really interesting with the head. I just don't want to look up because I don't want to see how much further I've got to
Yeah, that's
go.
good.
But I know with the positioning
Archie, watch out.
that
Well,
is
just
more.
put your head up. Just put
But
your
just
eyes
eyes down, yeah.
Just
Like, oh, I'm not seeing how far. Yeah.
Usually they don't
How'd
like
that
that.
feel?
Archie!
You might notice you might get a little bit of benefit of just getting a little bit more of an arm drive in, so
Just don't know
just a little bit more.
Keep doing it in the wrong
Help
place.
with
Yeah.
You're coming up.
Hard to be a good dog.
So hand starts here, elbow, so it's like hand.
Might there be a
elbow to
slice
hip.
of coffee?
That might
Yeah,
give you a little bit
absolutely.
more
There is literally
spring in the step.
that much left in there.
Actually,
And
there's
I
more
think there's
coffee
another
there.
one in it. And there's more.
Yes, more in that one. Yeah.
No, yeah, and you carry that.
Yeah.
You might as well.
Empty it,
You're
so
gonna carry
I
that,
don't
you
have
might
to
as well
carry
do
it.
your stomach. Okay, go for it.
Right, Archie, come out the way.
Am I alright drinking coffee?
Yeah, you're not going to add much to it, Arch.
That's this is on
Not me
there,
to be horrible, but
yeah. Not that it matters. We were both original and then I gifted Trish that one.
Yeah,
a
really
couple
good.
years ago. Good flasks. They used to be really
Yeah,
rare, these
good.
flasks. Now you
Yeah,
can
so
get
the,
them.
so the more confidence we can build, the more we can lean forward, and the faster we can then move down. And actually, the faster we're going
Onion.
down, there's obviously more risk of something going seriously wrong, but there's less risk of us like constantly breaking and causing more muscle fatigue and becoming
Yeah.
more tired and stuff.
yeah,
So
you look
yeah,
like you're flowing.
I'm sure you could probably drop it down a minute.
Shoes make a big difference too. These aren't very grippy.
they're not.
Just, like,
Yeah,
wet.
yeah, they're
You'll
maybe a
remember
little
the
bit better than
time
John's,
when,
but not.
Yeah.
It's just not. The grip on these is just amazing for this kind of conditions. Perfect.
Yeah.
The Tigers are
They're okay,
they're,
aren't they?
they're okay, but
Yeah.
Oh, they're
yeah,
the topo.
Yeah.
Is it topo? Did I say it topo? Whatever.
yeah.
Photos,
I love them. Yeah,
yeah.
I was looking into them. I think I saw you share them. Not
Yeah,
on
really
Instagram
good.
sometime.
Just little.
Oh, nice.
So they're called
Does it make
this.
you zingy?
No, I'll need a wee.
Ah,
Yeah.
I think that
Anybody else want to go?
I don't want to
A little go.
have to
go
do
for
that.
a
Yeah.
wee
Have you
You okay?
seen me recently?
today.
Yesterday you were doing great.
Yeah, on the flat.
A little bit different.
Yeah.
I suspect we're going to get moving in a couple of minutes, probably.
Okay.
how long you come out
Excuse me.
here? Like only half an hour, 1 hour?
Oh gosh, no. I don't even know what the time is.
Probably took me about 45 minutes or
Did
something.
it? Yeah. Yeah.
Another good little workout you can do is if you want to practice on the running element, a really good little workout you can do is just like a few seconds or minutes of really small steps and then big bounding strides, but landing on your foot underneath your body, you know, and then working between those back and forward, and you can that really helps to work on the elasticity and the fast cadence
Yeah, no,
together.
just
So
a wee stitch under my armpit.
all good.
Paranoid whenever I feel something. Crawl in.
Yeah, I was saying that was one of my biggest mistakes. That I was trying to run up the hill at the same, wasn't I? Doing
Same
the
pace the whole time. Yeah, you definitely need to adjust the.
Yeah, and then
adjust
like
the-
when you said about doing the small steps, yeah. Or I would just end up just walking up them.
Yeah.
But before I got pregnant though, I was starting to run
Yeah. yeah.
up. Wow,
Go up hills.
go uphill.
Yeah.
Again, just remember triple T. Anybody remember what triple T is?
Yeah. Trust was the last one.
Oh. Tap, tap, tap.
Tap,
Yeah.
tap, and
Tall, tall, tall.
tall.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Tall, 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 tap, 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 trust, trust, trust.
Yeah.
And you can use that in any kind of running situation pretty much. Yeah. Especially uphill, it's just very common to kind of hunch forward. And that's okay when you're power hiking, it's okay to kind of lean forward a bit more, but
Yeah. And you're right, coming downhill, you naturally just want to go,
Yeah, yeah.
whoa.
yeah.
It's not normal to
No.
lean
But yeah,
forward
yeah.
downhill.
Yeah, but again, that's where the trust comes, doesn't it? That you
Yeah.
can, yeah.
Yeah. There's a certain gradient of downhill where it becomes you can't lean forward because it's just you're just going to go too fast and you will potentially someone's going to go seriously wrong. So at some points you have to lean back, and that's where you have to have really strong quads and strong knees to be able to withstand those forces of coming down a hill and braking.
So that's where strength work.
Lots of strength, lots of eccentric strength we want to work on. So yeah, that's plyometrics are really important. That eccentric loading as well, so you can use weights and do like maximum strength with eccentric loading. So like squats with slow eccentrics and stuff like that are really useful as well. Yeah, so
Yeah.
Such a lovely boy.
Yeah.
He's about his job, isn't
Lovely boy. You're a beautiful boy.
Yeah, when we get back,
Is there something particular?
I'll talk a little bit about
Stop moving?
strides and sprints, just outside the the cottage area there, and you can have a little go of that if you want as well, just at the end of the run. So
Yep.
if we time it well, we can meet there and talk a little bit about that.
We might be a little faster walking down, won't we? Yeah.
You'll be back
Maybe.
before our Christmas trip.
You've heard a lot of this anyway, Helen, haven't you?
Yeah.
It's just
Yeah,
all.
no, it's good to see it.
Yeah.
Same to
Yeah.
Terry. Yeah.
I'm always learning new things myself anyway, so that it's always evolving and changing. So yeah, it's good to get the live version, because sometimes the videos take a little while for me to get them out and catch up. 'Cause I don't like to learn something through theory and study and then try and tell anybody to do it. I like to practice it for a while first and see the results of what happens. So sometimes it may be a year, for example, before I actually do a video on something. Oh, this is practicing it. It can take a long time to.
Because you know then how
You
it
need to
does
know.
work.
Yeah, there's no. Yeah, because you can listen to somebody say something, but until you actually put it into practice yourself,
Yeah.
I don't see the point really.
What they're doing today.
Cool.
Right.
Everybody good? We all want to get moving.
I choose a hard working here.
Well, he's doing a bit of gardening work. Digging up
Is
some
he?
heather.
Well done,
Bit of
Ike.
weeding.